ready?
Got open man. DJ Moore. End zone. Touchdown. Touchdown Bears.
I am Jeff Joniak.
Blitz is on. Down he goes. Brisker.
What was it like playing for Coach Ditka?
I don't want to answer any questions like that.
Pressure coming. He's in big trouble. Down he goes. Montez Sweat.
And etc.
Now, Bears Etc., brought to you by Geico, with the voices of the Bears, Jeff Joniak and Tom Thayer.
Well, London is calling, and the Bears are answering in a big way with Super Bowl winning Bears guard Tom Thayer. I'm Jeff Joniak, and welcome into episode 101 of the Bears Etc. podcast. And we are brought to you by Geico. Good to be here. It's been quite the experience. We've done a lot in this short period of time.
Yeah, but it's kind of weird because we're staying out in the middle of the country. We don't have the city that's unfolding in front of us where it kind of always occupies your attention. Here it's all about camaraderie and football. And I do like this because this is a new experience for me in 5 or 6 international trips. This is where it is, and it's all about football.
It's a great setup, and the Bears have a great setup at their hotel. And we have a shuttle that takes us back and forth.
But the moment we drove in here, to our right as we pulled into the grounds, they have an archery competition and a trap shooting competition. And it was basically like an adventure of Robin Hood that you'd see on Family Classics on a Sunday afternoon.
Oh, unbelievable. But part of the intrigue of this experience is that, you know, you give some of the color of what it is over the course of the week. It's just not pure football. For example, when we landed, there was a shuttle that took players, if they so desired, to go into the city. And so DJ Moore and Mercedes Lewis and Keenan Allen, they went on a food cuisine tour, which you probably would have enjoyed. Others went sightseeing. Others did whatever. So that was yesterday. Now it's about football. Walk through on Wednesday. Thursday, they'll actually get on the practice field and get the game plan executed.
You know, I actually like the way that the Bears have planned this out because I think you're going to see a fresh Bears football team come Sunday. And I think they went about it responsibly about getting the players here, letting them have a little downtime, and then come Wednesday during the course of a regular football preparation week, they're ready to go. And I'm excited to see practice tomorrow and see how they go about business and how everything lines up for a Sunday kickoff.
Also, the players have an area like they would at Hallis Hall. There's ping pong, there's pool, there's a golf simulator if they so desire, time to step away and relax because it is a camp environment. And I keep thinking it does feel like a Super Bowl week in a way because you're sequestered in a hotel. There are events, there's things to do, there is still practice, and you got this big game on a national stage. It's a standalone game at 8:30 in the morning kickoff, which you'll hear on ESPN 1000 of the Bears Radio Network. Catch it on the Bears app as well because it's the only game going at that moment, so they're in the national attention. And the reason I bring it up, we're going to hear from Caleb Williams here, Tom, is that this would be no different at a Super Bowl week. He'd be taking the podium every day, like Tom Brady and Peyton Manning before him, and one day he'll be able to handle it like those guys do because he handles it very well now.
I think he's a master at the podium, and I'm really impressed every time I see him talk at the podium, whether it's post-game or during the course of the week. He does a masterful job, and it's super encouraging to me because you don't ever want this situation to get too big for a player that has so much on his shoulders. So it's just another encouraging podium visit for me watching Caleb grow and develop.
Also, there are 30 events around England for Bears, community relations, etc. Your old teammate Neil Anderson, our good friend Charles Tillman, Anthony Adams, Zach Miller, Paul Edinger, a part of the entourage that is handling some of those events. And they have a team pub, Greenwood Sports Pub. It's in central London. If you're here listening to our podcast and you're coming on the trip, head over there. There's all sorts of stuff going on there, entertainment, Q&A sessions, a viewing party for the game. Fox 32's Bears Blitz will be there Friday with Cassie Carlson, Luke and Ellis, Peanut and Zach. I'm going to drop by, I guess. That's the word I'm hearing. And this will be the 10th regular season game at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. The Bears had the first one in 2019. It's interesting how the Bears have a first of everything. Kevin Warren was talking about that at the podium today with the international media here and the local Chicago media. The Bears, it's a charter franchise. We do a lot of first things.
Well, don't ignore the obvious. The first international game played here was a preseason game, the Chicago Bears versus the Dallas Cowboys in Wembley Stadium. I was a part of that team, so I don't want you to hurdle my career to talk about
preseason versus regular season.
I know. I understand that. I understand it. Let me talk. And I'm just saying that we as the Chicago Bears, I think, have an important role in the development of Chicago Bears fans that you'll see on hand Sunday because of the performance that we gave in 1986.
Interesting, the media here were asking all the players why they should cheer for the Bears. And it was interesting because many brought up the fact, well, we're the first. So and Caleb saying, well, we have the best colors. Yeah. All kinds of stuff like that. But you got to own it. We are the charter franchise of the National Football League. Own it. Everybody wants to play the Bears. Anytime they open up a new stadium, more often than not, the Bears are going to be the opponent. Why is that?
Because, like you say, we're the charter franchise of the NFL. We have the most history in the NFL. We have the most Hall of Famers. This has a storyline franchise about family ownership that goes back centuries, like some of the cities that we played in internationally. So I'm just proud to see what the Bears have become and where they're going.
Vizzy Hard Seltzer, flavors for every vibe. Celebrate responsibly. Molson Coors Beverage Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. All right, let's get into the football aspect of it. A word from Ryan Poles, the Bears general manager, is that Jaquan Brisker will not make the trip. Concussion symptoms, so it'll be Elijah Hicks, Tom. Elijah Hicks earning a lot of positive vibe. I heard about it way back to training camp. He's a different player than he was over the previous 2.5+ seasons. They feel very comfortable with him. He's an outstanding core special teamer as well. But, we know what Brisker brings to the table. He brings a physicality. He's always around the ball. He makes some noise back there. So we hope he's okay, and he'll be missed.
Yeah, but every guy that gets a chance to step into a lineup is expected to play up to their best ability and best skill level. Make sure you put in a little extra time studying if you need to. But I don't expect any downturn of the Bears defense this week. I expect them to go out there and play a high-level game and put Elijah Hicks in the same position that you would Jaquan Brisker. And don't hold back and just unleash the fury up front.
Jacob Martin, we're interested to see what happens there. The activation of his 21-day window to get on the practice field. He's a defensive end. Had an undisclosed injury. Some have reported a toe injury back in training camp. I think it was on the first day of training camp, if I'm not mistaken. So that window is open. He's not going to play here, I don't think. And the Bears signed tight end Tommy Sweeney to the practice squad. They lost Quarantino, the tight end that they had. Houston brought him on the active roster. So that opening, he's already here. Got on a plane. How about that? Waiting for an opportunity. Oh, okay, I get to go to London, and, he's on the practice squad, but he's there. Kyler Gordon's got a heel, Tom, and Tevin Jenkins with his ankle, both listed as limited, even though it was just a walkthrough, but they have to do a designation. So I don't know where your concerns levels for that is.
Again, it's similar to Jaquan Brisker and Elijah Hicks. I expect the guy that has a next man up mentality come in there and play at the level that's expected of them. You hear a lot of quality and confident things about the play of Bill Murray, which I was excited to hear and I was excited to see. And then I think Kyler Gordon will be in there. He's a tough guy. And so, again, you got to keep your expectations high, because the worst thing you want to do is, just because there's a couple guys not in the lineup for a week, to lower your expectations. And I don't think that's going to be a part of Matt Eberflus and the rest of the crew.
Time now for the Geico Brings You More Football stat of the day, and it's going to be about Caleb Williams, the fourth rookie quarterback since 1950 to win each of his first 3 home starts and throw no interceptions in a game, joining Matt Ryan, Ryan Poles' old college roommate at Boston College, Tua Tagovailoa, and Russell Wilson. That's one stat. And this is interesting, Tom. Between Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, and Caleb Williams, the rookie quarterbacks have combined for 10 wins, the second most by rookie quarterbacks in the first 5 weeks of a season since 1970. Back in 87, there was a 12-win trio of rookie quarterbacks. So that's the stats on Caleb. Now let's listen to what he said at the podium with the international media, and a lot of it is about growth and maturity as a young quarterback.
I think the first thing I've learned from traveling is there's a bunch of different cultures and things like that. I love food and all of that. I love architecture, and everywhere you go, there's a bunch of different things. And then it's just something I like to do in my off time, kind of reset, kind of get ready for doing this for the whole rest of the year. And so it's just one of my things that I've learned over the years that I really enjoy, and something that helps me reset for when it's time to do this for the rest of the year.
You specifically mentioned how your guys have been able to create more depth in the pocket. How specifically does that help you operate?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it helps me when they can create more depth in the pocket. It goes for any quarterback playing ball. So but it's been great. Just getting more comfortable, understanding how my offensive lineman blocks, understanding and filling it out in the pocket when I'm back there in practice games. So just getting used to everybody and things like that. And I think they're all getting used to me, how I throw, where I tend to be in the pocket and things like that. And I think things have been settling down for all of us, I would say. I think it's been a joy to from the first game to now to be able to progress, have constant communication from the teammates and from the coaches all together. That's huge, like I've spoke about before, and I think we've been getting better at it.
I remember when you came in, you were talking a lot about listening.
Yeah.
Listen to everyone you wanted to hear, just soak everything up. How has the process gone from that to now being able to be bossy?
Bossy. Sounds a little sassy, you know what I mean? No, all good. I think partially it was me learning everybody and understanding how everybody, reacts to certain things. Certain people you can be a little bossy with. Certain people you have to talk very monotone and control of yourself. Other times just people that you can just kind of lash out, and I don't really lash out much. It's not really my vibe, but just always coming over to talk to the guys when I can. Growing up a little bit, understanding that even when I'm frustrated about maybe it was a drive, a play that we had that we may have messed up, or just whatever the case may have been. Understanding that there's another drive coming. There's another part of the season that we have to focus on also, and so being able to go over and talk to them, understand how and what they need to hear, and then from there moving on. So I think the other part of it is getting more comfortable and understanding the offense a little bit better, getting more comfortable, calling in things like that, being in games, being in the live action moments. I think has helped me. I think it's been from the start of the season. I think there was things that we were getting better at, things that I need to be better at, things that and partially it was me speaking up a little bit more and not getting so annoyed and understanding what I need to say to people and how I need to say it, when I need to say it. And I think that progress has grown from the first game to now.
What do you think? Let me help people react to certain situations. What have you thought is the best way for you and DJ to get on the same page and have a game like that?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just going over there and talking to DJ. First, let the frustration, if maybe it was a good drive, so maybe no frustration, or maybe it was one of those drives that obviously we felt like we should have scored, or should have gotten the ball some more, or anything like that. Go over and talk to him after everything settles down, whether it's good or bad. Go over, talk to him, and just be right on the same level as he is. I think DJ's not a huge rah-rah guy unless he scores like y'all saw last week. Big bro, as he said.
What blew me away is, and we're going to hear from DJ Moore here as well, said he was a little bossy. He was getting a little bossy in a good way. He's showing that he has the intelligence and the understanding of what he needs to be, not only as a player, but as a voice in that huddle, a voice in the locker room, a voice to get things right that makes him even more comfortable as a play caller, in this case, calling the plays of the line of scrimmage, the adjustments, what he's in the huddle. I look at that as a major jump forward after just a month or so of football.
Two things I really liked about Caleb. They try to ask him a lot of distracting questions about being in London and the sightseeing. Mm-hmm. And he goes, look, I don't want to go there. Let's get into football and start asking me some football questions. And the thing with, even though he has a C on his jersey, which designates that he's a captain, he's a leader of this football team. And the smarter he gets, the better he gets. The more intelligent he gets about the Bears offense, the more things he can do at the line of scrimmage. And I think that's super encouraging to every one of these playmakers that they have on this football team, especially if you have the continuous development by the offensive line. Listen, Caleb is skyrocketing throughout this season, and I think that process is continue. But he accepts his leadership role as a young man in a very mature way. And you can even hear it from DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and the rest of the guys on this offense.
All right, let's listen to DJ Moore, who starts out talking about that whole relationship with Caleb, how it's growing, how they're getting on the same page.
It's amazing. He's taking those strides that he needs to. He's been bossy lately, telling us that we need to be on the details, but we really do for him to be the best player he needs to be. So, but yeah, I think that's it.
DJ, what did you do with him? You said bossy. Have you seen him assert himself more as a leader over these 5 weeks?
He's been a leader. So what I mean by bossy is we don't hit something in practice. He's going to tell us how we need to run it, this, that, and we just look at it and be like, okay. And then when we get out there on the game, you just better make sure it works because he's going to have some words for you if you don't. So that's him being a leader. He's a little bossy, still a little bro. So
that's what you want. I mean, he's younger than I guess. That's what you want to see.
Yeah, you do want to see that. Like I said, he's like little bro. So you like looking at him like, dude, don't be talking to me like that. But it's but I understand because we need to really connect on that. And that's what we did this past week. So I took his advice. I listened. You know what I'm saying? Older bro had to take a back seat for a second.
And one thing more on DJ, on the tempo.
Helps a lot, keeps the defense on their toes, keeps them in base personnel or the same defense that we just saw to play before. And it's easier to dissect for Caleb. So just playing fast tempo, it's an advantage for us, and we got to be on it.
Is every offensive player want to play that?
Yeah, if we dishing the ball like how we was last week, yeah. Getting a win out here and then going on a bye week happy is a must. And even if we wasn't going on a bye week, a back-to-back win would be amazing. Just to stack those wins, keep that feeling going for the rest of the year.
That's the whole process of a quarterback throughout the entirety of their rookie year and throughout the entirety of their career. They're going to have to go in there and get these mind games against the defensive coordinator that's going to try to get you off balance or maybe get you to forced into making the wrong decision. I think one thing about a guy like DJ Moore, it's neat to watch him go up there at the podium and confidently say that he likes the fact that that Caleb picked him out and threw him a difficult pass in the end zone and he was able to make a touchdown catch out of it. But when you talked about the tempo at the line of scrimmage, the different plays and the variety of coverages they put Caleb under, and he makes the right decision. And his personal tempo inside the huddle is not necessarily relaxed, but it's more controlled.
We're brought to you by PNC, official bank of the Bears. And Steinhoffel's is an employee-owned furniture and mattress store. Visit any of their 4 Chicagoland locations in Vernon Hills, Crystal Lake, Downers Grove, and Harwood Heights, or shop online at steinhoffels.com. So Ryan Poles went to the podium as well. Loves the fact that they actually are staying at this hotel because of the camp environment, the ease of it all. They're not running in and out of the city, driving a bus 2 hours to go to practice. It's a very idyllic setting, trust me, folks. The practice field next to a golf course, but it's English gardens everywhere here. Well-established greenery. It's quiet. You hear the birds chirping, Tom. There's no sirens. There's no sound of a city at all. This is very relaxing.
And it's surrounded by a golf course that they have major golf tournaments there. So you can't deny the fact that as you go to the golf course, oh yeah, I'm passing alongside a green or a tee box from the surrounding golf course. And like I said, it's my first experience being at one of these international games outside the city itself. And I think it's a much more enjoyable working atmosphere because again, it's not the preseason where there's still a lot of decisions to be made. This is the regular season where if you can put another win underneath your belt right now, make it 3 in a row going into the bye week, man, you are really kickstarting yourself like we all hoped you would.
We're excited. So is team president and CEO Kevin Warren. We're going to hear an interview I did with him on Thursday night on Bears Weekly on ESPN 1000 on the Bears Radio Network. Check that out. But you can't put this guy's enthusiastic approach to this job, his love of this franchise, the way he respects the McCaskey family and this opportunity he is just bountiful in terms of his outlook on this franchise. Was asked a lot about stadium talk. Plan still to have a shovel in the ground in 2025 at some point, and the focus remains on the museum campus and downtown. Not ruling out Arlington Heights by any means, but right now that remains the focus, trying to get those relationships with legislators, political climate, all that got to be worked through, fall veto session, all these things. It's all a topic of conversation. At the same time, Tom, I look at this almost like a duck in a pond. The pond with the duck, it looks like he's just floating on water, enjoying himself, but underneath, his feet are moving. That's what's going on with the stadium. They're eyeballing the cost of steel. They're eyeballing the drop in interest rates. The value of money will be different to borrow or whatever. And they're planning. They're planning a go-ahead. No matter where the stadium may wind up, they have to do this, and he is full charge ahead. I'd expect nothing else.
As much as I've grown to admire Kevin Warren, I don't want to be Kevin Warren. He's one of the hardest working men I've ever seen in any type of business, whether it's sports or just the business community. And that's a good analogy about looking like a duck above the water, but his feet are moving 1,000 miles an hour. And I think that's the way you have to process information when you're talking about a billion-dollar football organization, comma, and then you're talking about being in the midst of building and deciding where a new stadium is going to be built, comma, and then you think about putting together the campus that they have in Lake Forest and keeping it at the top rate so it's attractive to players. So there's so many decisions you make on an everyday basis. It's got to be exhausting for him.
Yeah, but at the same time, he loves the international thing too. He wants the Bears to be a worldwide brand, and they are. They are a worldwide brand. A lot of Bears fans out there. He said there's 40 million Bears fans in Europe. They do a lot of research. They have companies do this research. I think we feel it. We see it. We're going to see it at the stadium on Sunday at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium when we line up against the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's something that he does not take for granted, that he's trying to emphasize and try to earn more from a business perspective and make this a worldwide brand.
Yeah, they're fortunate to be in Chicago, and it's a convenience to travel here to London. It's not it's not so exhausting of a trip that it takes a toll on you as a football team, because that's one thing you don't want to happen on an international trip. So to me, at this point on, when you look at Thursday, Friday, Saturday, it's just about getting better as a football team, be prepared for Sunday, because they do have a realistic opportunity to win this game, but you have to go out there and have the same approach that you had the last couple weeks. And I do think it's going to be a super Bears supportive crowd.
Good news, Chicago. United Airlines is getting brand new planes with all the bells and whistles like Bluetooth connectivity, screens at every seat, and room for everyone's roller bag. United, proud to fly the Chicago Bears, and you too. All right, let's dig into the Jaguars now. Your old buddy and teammate Doug Peterson, the head coach there, working through some things. This Jacksonville team has already played double-digit games here in London. They know the drill. Trevor Lawrence knows the drill. He's 3-1 in these games, coming off a career-high passing day. A lot of big plays. They've had a lot of big plays. They had 3 60-plus yard plays in their win over the Colts. They had to do it, though, and get a field goal in the final 17 seconds to lock it up. They've had their troubles, but you just hope that's not a springboard to more confidence and a better synchronicity with his offense, because things were not good. His completion percentage was down. He's still turning the ball over. 62 turnovers, highest in the league during his time.
Yeah, and he's getting ready to face one of the most ferocious defensive fronts there are in the NFL. And I think when you have multiple pass rushers on behalf of the Bears and you have the back seven that can play equally as productive football as the guys up front, that's what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to go in there and charge full steam ahead and try to make Trevor Lawrence and their running game and their passing game as uncomfortable as you possibly can. And maybe can you create an extra possession or two for Caleb Williams, and then the offense has to go out there and perform against a good defensive front that can provide pass pressure, and they're stable against the run. So it's still going to be about how the Bears play against a quality offense, a quality quarterback, but they're also playing against a quality defense in the Chicago Bears.
I want to talk about their offensive line. They have 35 years of starting experience on that offensive line. You got names on there. Mitch Morse, a Pro Bowl center back in the day. He's bounced around, but everybody loves that guy. Brandon Sheriff, has had injury issues in recent years, but earned a big contract when the guard contracts were just starting to take off. And then your Cam Robinson from Alabama, 8th year. He has given up 4 sacks in 5 games. At left tackle, Anton Harrison, a mammoth right tackle out of Oklahoma. He's allowed a couple sacks on the edges. I'm looking at their edge guys, and I'm looking at our edge guys as the battles to watch in this game. The edge rushers against the tackle.
Yeah, and it's nice that the Bears have 4 quality edge rushers that if you can take offensive tackle and you feel they're susceptible to giving up pressure, then you put multiple bodies at them. You rush them with speed. You make them think to the inside blitz possibility and their assignments. So, yeah, they do have experience with Morris and Schreff, the 2 good quality interior offensive linemen, but I do think they have challengeable tackles. And I'm excited to see that because you don't necessarily have to result in a sack. If you just result in making a 6'6" quarterback uncomfortable, his throwing foundation off balance, trying to run in an awkward direction and make an accurate throw. So that's as important with this defense as much as getting sacks themselves.
And then, they do not have an interception, Jacksonville. They're last in pass defense, 30th in scoring defense. They allowed 81 points in the first half. That is the second most in the NFL behind Carolina, the team the Bears just played. And by the way, I know there's a lot of questions, and there were for Matt Eberflus or even Ryan Poles about, okay, the Bears offense looking better, Caleb looking better against defenses that are ranked near the bottom of the league. Again, you play who you play. So now here again, another defense that some people saying, well, you should be able to.
What are they trying to fix?
The wrong league.
That's right. So, you got to pay attention to the improvement of Caleb Williams. You go back and you look and listen to the guys up at the podium talk about his improvement in the huddle, at the line of scrimmage, in command of the cadence, and understanding of the defensive coverages that he's getting and where the best opportunity for him lies in the pass play called. To me, I don't care who they're playing. I care about the development of Caleb. So that's what I'm looking at right now, and I'm not opponent concerned. Right. I'm more Caleb concerned.
That's a big thing, too. If you didn't play well, they played down to their competition. I always hate that.
Don't agree.
Right? This
is the NFL. The competition is all great.
You can get punched in the mouth by anybody. Right. At any given time. Tastes like Miller time. Go to MillerLite.com/BearsPod to find delivery options near you. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. Their running game interests me. Travis Etienne, he's had some issues of late, but Tank Bigsby's really coming on strong, so they got to stop the run. And they have Brian Thomas, an outstanding receiver out of LSU. He's their leading target. He's their leading receiver. They have Christian Kirk is excellent out of the slot as well. So, and Evan Ingram. Let's talk about Evan Ingram because he had a ton of targets last year. He's only played 1 game. He is expected to play, though.
Yeah, what type of offensive guys are going to show up on Sunday? Because they do have marquee names. Yeah. They start with a marquee quarterback in Trevor Lawrence. The guy's got skills and the look of as good as any quarterbacks in the NFL. In every one of those offensive weapons that you name, they all have star potential behind them. So as we look at Caleb Williams against the defense he's facing, it's about the Bears defense and how they're facing the talent that they're playing on offense. So they're going to have to, first of all, beat up a good offensive line. They're going to have to challenge the playmakers on this team, and everybody on the team is going to have their hand in a top performance by the Bears defense to take away some of these dynamic playmakers that Jacksonville does have.
Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, right here at home, driving access toward healthier communities through it all. And I don't think I've gotten on Tom's nerves at all this week so far. Knock on wood. I haven't lost anything.
Well, you just jinxed yourself. But listen, all I want to say is when we leave to pack on Sunday morning, don't leave your passport behind.
That's fair. I got it tucked away in a nice place. Special thanks to everybody for helping us out on this podcast. And for Tom, I'm Jeff. Thanks for listening. Please subscribe now on the Chicago Bears official app, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. Bear down, everybody.